Welcome everybody and all of y'all to the Lost Creatives podcast. I am your host, Ijlal Abdullah Muhammad, and we're about to get into some things. Okay, I am. Let me take a step back. Let me calm down because I'm really psyched right now because I know exactly what this is what it is, and what it's going to be, and what it's going to turn into, and how it's going to grow. And when you see these things from the start, it's beautiful. But you're not there yet, and that's the reason for this first episode. Is to get you there. It's to get you on board so you can be feeling exactly what I'm feeling, so you can be moving like I'm moving. Okay, I've been DMing people on Instagram and on not Facebook, on fan base, and a lot of people are like, yo, who is this guy? What is Lost Creatives? So, I'm going to take this opportunity to make the very first episode, break down all of that. What's the loss? What is loss? How does this podcast? What's this podcast about? How's it flow? So on and so forth. We're gonna get into all of that, and then by the end, I guarantee you, y'all gonna be hitting me up, and I'm gonna be loving it, and we're about to shake the world as creatives. Okay, so let's do that. Let's go ahead and get into it. First, let me explain um uh why Lost, right? So Lost is an acronym that I created. It stands for Lovers of Storytime. It's pretty dope, right? Everybody, I know for me, for sure, I love a good story. I love stories, period. And I tell stories, but that just could be because I'm a New Yorker. We tell stories, but stories is everybody's in the mood for a good story. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to have creatives actually tell their creative story, their creative journey, and sum it up basically into three chapters. The beginning, the middle, and the present, right? Because our creative stories are still going. That's the format that I wanted it to follow. Obviously, through podcast, through interviewing, it's going to roll out like that. But a little, a little something different. Okay, so that's the flow it's going to run. And in this first episode is going to be no different. It's going to follow that same exact format. So what I wanted to do is, in the first three chapters, I wanted to explain obviously who I am in my work, um, why come up with the Lost Creatives podcast, and then of course, who does it actually benefit? How will it actually benefit creatives, and also those who who love the work of creatives? So that's what we're gonna do right now. Okay. So first things first. Who I am. Once again, my name is Ijlal Abdullah Muhammad. I am an author. By present by present trade. Um, I actually have written and self-published a short story compilation book. It's called L.O.S.T. Lovers of Storytime. That's my tagline. That's my trademark. I think it's really creative. In any case, it's mainly consistent of science fiction, more fantasy than science fiction, but that as well. You can go on Barnes and Nobles online, or Amazon online, or preferably the lostpublishing.com. Copy yourself a copy. I guarantee you're going to love it. Okay. I am an author, but I've done, I've painted, I've welded, I've wood carved, wood burned, drawn, illustrated, you know, a, a lot of creative mediums and outlets I've definitely delved into. And I only mentioned those not to say that, oh well, I kind of did everything. No, those I was actually doing. I was pretty good in all of those different mediums or genres that I mentioned, and and I I stumbled upon writing, to be honest with you. It wasn't something that that I really thought I was wanted to do. But I'm pretty sure as creatives, you can relate to stumbling into an art form that turns out to be something bigger than you ever thought it could be. Um, but regardless of whatever art form it is, whatever art form I've done, one of the things that always remains, and I think as creatives we can all relate to this, we probably all feel this way. I know I do for certain, and a lot of the creatives that I know feel this way for certain. We want people to share in our work. Yes, it's not to say that if there was no one to share our work with, we wouldn't create. No, I mean, a creative is a creative. We're gonna create until we're dead. Lord willing. And that's who we are, and we love that about ourselves, and we don't apologize for it. But but we really, the biggest joy is showing others what we can do. Like look, look, look at what I can do with this trumpet, man. Look what I could do with this canvas. You know what I mean? Look what I could do with this typewriter and this paper. Just showed my age there, but whatever. you know, so it's look what I can do with my voice. You know what I'm saying? Look what I can do with my body. Like dancing. It it we want to share it. We want to share it. I say we want to. We need to share it. It's a itch that we gotta scratch, and and therein lies a major problem for a lot of us creatives, especially our black and brown creatives. First, people don't know our work exists. No matter how great it is, you got to get it out there. And yes, we're on social media, and yes, um, we may do a little bit of stuff. Some people know us here, some people know us there, but we're still struggling. We're still struggling before a significant number of people see what we can do. And we're not to say that we're not thankful for the little that do cherish in our work. But so that's very much the first issue for me, is no one know that I could paint or draw or whatever have you. But the second issue for me really was I loved what I was doing when I was painting, when I was drawing, when I was doing any of those different areas in art. I wasn't really super in love with any of them, and that's kind of like segueing my into the second chapter. I found my true passion in writing, and when I say true passion, if you are a just authentic painter, you can't stop thinking about painting. There isn't. Someone can having a conversation with you, and while they're speaking to you, you're thinking about painting. You can be writing something and you're thinking about painting. You could be eating and you're thinking about painting. You could be on the toilet. You are thinking about painting. It's something you're dreaming. You woke up out of a deep sleep, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you start painting. And that's if you're a painter. Same if you're a dancer. Same as if you're a singer. Same as if you're anything else. That art form that you are truly passionate about, it's just always on your mind. And that's why we're creatives, because once it hits hard. You know what I mean? And we got to do it. We got to start creating. I've never felt that way about any of the other art forms that I did and that I was good at, except for writing. There's many times when my wife was just like, she's in the middle of talking to me, right? And she's like, are you writing a chapter right now in your mind as I'm talking to you? So I start cracking up. It's like, yo, come on, you know what it is. Like, I'm sorry. Sometimes I just got this idea. Let me just jot this down real quick. You know, so that happened with writing, and then when it did, man, it was so wonderful. I always viewed myself as a creative, but I would never call myself an artist or anything like that. I wouldn't even call myself a creative because I felt that I should have that feeling, and I never had that feeling until I started writing. So, by the way, I actually have a novel. Was book one of three that I wrote and finished, it's edited, and right now I'm in the process of looking for a literary agent. So, you know what I mean? If y'all out there and you're viewing or you're hearing this your podcast while you're on the treadmill or whatever, I'll at your boy. Okay, but anyway, um, so it was in writing that I found my true passion. My true creative passion, and it's been great since. But the first problem still remained. No one knew my work, right? My book has been finished for, and I have no shame in saying it. My book has been finished for a year. My short story, Lost, Lovers of Storytime. It's been, like I said, it was self-published. It's been on the market for, I think, about a year now. I sold one copy. Well, correction, to someone who happened to find me uh, by way of a my sister-in-law who happened to be talking about it. So other than that, I've sold it to family members and friends, but I'm talking about someone who's not related to me, didn't know I existed or whatever, and through conversation, my book came up. Right? It was just one person. Other than that, it has not moved. So no one's reading my book. So here is something. I finally find my true artistic, my true creative passion, and it's great. It's great. I ain't blowing my own horn, but cop the book, man. You see what I'm talking about? It's really good. Anyway, I find my true passion, and like I said, I want to share it. My marketing strategies are sucking. They're going nowhere. And it hurts. It's killing me inside. And let's not front. You know how it is. When it comes to social media, as Black and brown creatives, a lot of our stuff is suppressed. We know what it is. Everybody knows what it is. So I started to think, how do I do this? How do I get myself out there better? And then I was inspired by another podcast called Social Proof, where the interviewer David, he interviews a lot of Black entrepreneurs, and these are millionaires who no one knows who they are. I mean, if you're in the circle, you do, but they could be your next door neighbor. You wouldn't have no idea. And they're telling their story. They're telling, speaking about, their level of expertise. And it's so inspiring, first of all, the knowledge that they're dropping, especially for people who want to get into that field or people who are in that field and are having trouble. And please excuse me, Dave, if I'm messing up how your show actually runs. You're a huge inspiration and mentor to me, and I know, I'm sorry about that. But anyway, so as I was saying, that's the first thing, and then secondly, it's like you realize that, wow, this is real here. This is a realistic niche. This is a realistic market where you have these Black entrepreneurs that people love to listen to, that people, once they start like, wow, this is what you do, this is how you do it, and then they drop in knowledge and they're seeing themselves in them. And I realized that he tapped into something that those entrepreneurs very much needed. I'm not saying that, I mean, they're millionaires, so obviously they're making their money, but the point I'm trying to make is I had no idea they existed until I watched Social Proof, until I watched that podcast. And I'm not alone, you know? So it clicked. One of the things that my wife always said to me was, you love talking to people. I try to act like I'm an introvert. Like when you first meet me, I'm quiet or whatever. But then once I start going, I mean, it's hard to get me to stop. And she said, you love talking to people, and then you also know how to, you don't just love talking to people. You know how to communicate with them. You know how to ask certain questions to make them open up. And then I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, that's true. I used to be professionally. I was I'm a learning and development expert. I trained mainly customer service and sales for several different companies. So I'm just saying that to say that I did several presentations. I did a lot of interviewing, and so conveying things to people so in ways that they understand, relating information to them, having them open up, is something that I did professionally for a long time, and she just made me realize, like, yo, why don't you connect the dots? You're looking for a way to get your work out there. You're looking for a way to have people share in your work. And then you personally, as a creative, as an artist, know what it's like to not have the opportunity to share your work. And then the light bulb just clicked, man. It's like, we need a podcast. And why podcast? Because podcast is the new, late night TV, right? It's the new daytime talk show. This is the thing of today. So, it's the format that everyone's running with. So once that connected, it said, okay, this is what I need to do. And I think all of us should always have the attitude, if not me, then who, right? So rather than try to find somebody's podcast to get on, forget that. I'm just going to make my own podcast. And then cater it to the people that I relate to, right? Because that's where the desire is coming from. That's where I feel the most connection with. So transition into chapter 3, why the L.O.S.T creatives, and then how does it benefit, right? So that's why the L.O.S.T creatives. Once again, L.O.S.T because obviously that's my trademark, as I mentioned earlier. Love is of story time, but L.O.S.T creatives because it fits what I'm trying to do. Specifically Black and brown creatives. Okay. We tend, our genius is what it is. Our genius gets lost in the sauce a lot, just to be rediscovered / reinterpreted / stolen by someone else in a different way that we can't claim credit for, and we bust our butt to do it. And that sucks. And if that's not happening, it just never really goes past a certain number. And then once we're dead, then all of a sudden, oh, this Black artist, thanks, but what about now? If our creative work is going to be good when we're long gone, then it's good now. So And we don't have a lot of opportunities. We don't have a lot of opportunities. Yes, social media is booming, and yes, anybody can create a page and get out there. But with that being said, and for those creators that know what I'm talking about, it still feels like you are struggling to be seen. Your work you're struggling to show your creative work, as a Black and brown creative. And when you're passionate about something and you don't get to share it, it can hurt. It can hurt really bad. It don't stop you because you're creative, but man, it don't feel good either. So allowing an opportunity for those Black and brown creatives to be able to have a platform, where they can talk about their work, talk about the journey that took them to get where they're at, share their experience, because there's one of two things: either someone going through it and would love to learn from them, or just have someone say, oh wow, that's me right now, and then make them feel a bit better. Or if you are a well-known, not just for the ones who are trying to make it, but also for the ones who have. If you are well known, well then you're a wealth of knowledge. You know what I mean? And we need you. You are one of the few Black and brown creatives who have reached that large audience that we're struggling to get. So we want to hear how you did it. We want to hear your story. Your story is important. You have been found. The rest of us are still lost. But you're still a creative. And just because you are well known as a Black and brown creative, it doesn't mean that every day still isn't a struggle to maintain where you're at or even grow past that. So that's the reason, and long and short, for the L.O.S.T Creatives podcast. I want to be able to reach out to my good brothers and my good sisters, who are creatives, and of all art forms. I'm not just tailoring it to 5 or 6 or 7, of all art forms. Okay, I don't care if you're just starting out. I don't care if everybody already knows your name. I see equal value in either or. And I want to speak to either or. Because it doesn't matter if you've never told your story. It doesn't matter if you told your story several times. This is the L.O.S.T Creatives podcast. This is an intimate podcast with Ijlal Abdullah Muhammad, a fellow creative who, knows what it is to create and want to share. You're going to want to tell your story here. You're going to want to tell your story here. You're going to want to answer the questions, that I'm asking here. You're going to feel like you never felt before, I guarantee you. You're gonna be inspired like you've never been inspired before, I guarantee you. Well, this is just a podcast. How's it inspiring me? Man, you don't know what I'm working with. Okay, you don't know what I'm working with. I'm serious. It's just, it's communicating is an art form in itself. It really is a huge art form. And I'm not just talking about, singing or, rap or whatever. I'm talking about the art form of connecting with another human being verbally. And now it's all of it's going to be remote. You're going to be wherever you are, and I'm going to be here, and we're going to be speaking to each other, obviously remotely, because that's phase 1. You dig? Once the first season is done, and I'm gonna move towards an actual studio, and then people are gonna be wanting to come in and see the kid. But you know what I'm saying? And then look, like you see how I'm talking, because I know where this is gonna go. I know where this is gonna go. Lord willing, I just believe it, because whenever there is a need and someone taps into that need, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Okay? And if you build it, they will come. They will come. And this is a serious need. This is a serious, serious need. I'm not saying nothing that, you don't know. I'm not saying nothing you don't know. Everybody that I'm appealing to right now, I'm appealing to you for a reason. You dig what I'm saying? I'm appealing to you for a reason. That's why I know it's going to be what is as great as it's going to be. And I can only imagine how much greater it'll get. But, right now we're just starting off with episode 1. Right now we're starting off with just explaining, who I am, how this works. And with that being said, come on, man. Come on. What you waiting for? Come on. You can go ahead. Like I said, you can go on to my Instagram, okay, which is the L.O.S.T. That's the L.O.S.T. Creatives. Okay, DM me, hit me up. You can go on to my personal Instagram, which is Lost Author. You can go on to YouTube, that's also Lost Author, or you can just email me straight up at iam@thelostpublishing.com. Okay. I respond to all of them. My emails I respond to much quicker. Or you can just go onto the website and communicate with me through there, which is thelostpublishing.com. Okay, come on, hit me up. My numbers in my on my website. I mean, I'm not trying to avoid any forms of contact. As far as you communicating with me, I want you as my guest. I want you as my guest. I want you to tell your story. I want to be able to ask you the questions that I'm telling you ain't never been asked, but you've definitely thought about. You've never been asked, but you've most certainly been curious about expressing. And and the reason why I say it like that is because, and I call it an intimate podcast, is once again, when a person makes you feel free to express, that's exactly what you do. Think about how your art makes others feel. Think about how it makes you feel. Now, what if you had a creative that could do that through interviewing? That's what's up. That's what makes us dynamite. That's what makes us golden. And that's why I'm saying, come on, come with it. We are going to be large due to Lost Creatives Podcast. Okay, I need your stories just as much as you need this platform to be able to get those stories out. Okay, I'm fully invested, as you can see. I'm in. You know what I mean? I am in. I'm ready to go. I just need you. I just need you. It's here. It's here. Okay. Just last night you was like, "Dag, man, what I gotta do?" I'm sitting here, I'm doing all this work, and ain't nobody. Nope, not anymore. Not anymore. Lost Creatives Podcast. You dig? There's your answer. You trying to get it out there? DM me. I'm paying all this money for marketing and nothing. Nobody. No more. The excuses are done now. You understand what I'm saying? Black and brown creatives, Understand me. The excuses are done now. Lost Creatives Podcast is here. I am looking for you. Okay, I am looking for you. I will shout out your work. All right, through the podcast, you don't see it, but through the video, the YouTube video, I will put up your work when I'm editing the video. Okay, I will drop links to your work. You understand? I am not charging you for none of this. I am not charging for none of this. Maybe I didn't say that. Okay, so if you're listening now, really listen now. This is free. The only thing it will cost you is your time. You know what I mean? That's it. You don't have to give me a penny. I just ask for your time. Your time and your story. That's what I'm talking about. That's how I'm coming. I just want your time and your story, man. I just want your time and your story, good brother. I just want your time and your story, good sister. Black and brown creatives, holla at me, okay? We're here now. We have our platform now. We can go ahead and run. Let's go and run, man. Let's get out there, okay? Once the interview is done, once the edits are done, I will definitely send you the full interview, the audio and the video. You can put that on your social media pages or whatever outlets you're using to promote yourself, however as you see fit. You know, I'm going to promote it obviously on the L.O.S.T Creatives on my Instagram, on my Facebook. Look, this is what's up. Okay, this is what's up. This is what you need to do. It's you know, the struggle is over. Okay, the struggle is over. So let me make sure I'm giving this out properly. Like I said, the Instagram is the L.O.S.T Creatives. Okay, please send me a DM. It's important. All right, holla at me. And we're done. You know, it's here now. Like I said, it's here now. This is what we're doing. Okay. On Fanbase. All right, because I'm on Fanbase too. It is IAMUHAMMAD. Come on, stop playing. Stop playing. Holla at me. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. No more waiting. No more. You know, I don't know how my work not getting out there. You can also go on my personal page. I prefer you go to the L.O.S.T Creatives, but you can go to the personal page. L.O.S.T author. Okay, and that is the same for YouTube. All right, L.O.S.T author. Okay, and then as I said, my email address is iam@thelostpublishing.com. Email me. I respond quickest through email. Please email me. And don't forget about the book. This is an excellent book. I mean, it's like, you know, you want to sit there and read a story to your kid before bedtime, you know, or if you just want to, you know, go into your favorite coffee shop, you know what I mean, sit down with your Mocha Doka, Loca Choca. I'm not a coffee dude. I don't even know what y'all be putting on my stuff. But anyway, and just open up a good book. You know what I mean? I was at the park just a couple days ago, on the grass, chilling. L.O.S.T, excellent book to just read and chill. By the way, so like I said, you can go to thelostpublishing.com, copy yourself that book. Also shoot me an email. Once again, I am very happy to know that this exists for Black and brown creatives. I need you to know it. And now that you know it, I'll at your boy, man. I mean, now that you know it, DM me, email me. I want your work to be out there. Almost as bad as you. You probably wanted a little bit more than me, but I want it almost as bad as you for your work, for you to get your work out there. And, you know, why not do it here? You know what I'm saying? We're creatives, so, you know, we brothers, we sisters, you know, so let's help each other out, man. Let's help each other out. Let's build each other up. You know what I mean? Because if you doing good, I'm doing good, we doing good. All right? So there it is. There's nothing else left but for you to just be DMing me. And I'm telling you, be the first. And if you ain't gonna be the first, be the second. If you're not gonna be the second, be the fifth. Just get in. Just get in. Just get in. Have the honor of being the first. Have the honor of being. I was Jalil's third guest. You know what I mean? I was 10th guest before he was doing big things. I mean, that's all cosmetic desire. But for real, get at me, please. Okay. I did this for us. I created Lost Creatives for us. For us. Nobody else. Nobody else. So let's make it happen. Enough said. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you watching. So please continue to do that, because the best has yet to come. The best has yet to come. And I'm waiting on you. You know what I mean? You heard that? Yeah. All right. Maybe you got it. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. Whatever. All right. But anyway, please hit me up. Thank you very much for tuning in. And, tell me a story.